Hi all, welcome to Salesforce with Vinayaka. Today we are going to discuss about external client app. This is the third part series of the external client app that we are discussing. And today we are going to talk about how can Salesforce be an identity provider using which a partner can actually log in without even interacting to Salesforce. So, in order to deep dive into this use case, first let's talk about our Salesforce with Vinayaka Corporation. This is a corporation who has actually partnered up with multiple partners where they actually take help from partners to do marketing. Among many partners, Pawan is one of the partner marketing lead where he actually owns a team where they do marketing. Now, in order to do a better marketing, Pawan needs to understand what all the contents that he can actually grab into his bucket so that he can do better at his job and also he can help their fellow colleagues. Let's come to our screen where every client would have this particular login, let's say, and I'm just going to quickly do a login using my partner credentials. As a Pavan, I'm actually logging in using my partner credentials, which I was being given when I was being partner, and same credentials that they can use in order to log into this portal where they can grab the content in order to do any marketing that they want. As of now, for demo, I have just landed them to a page where it just has YouTube link, and you can see that it's one of my YouTube link that I have done previously. But I just wanted to give you a gist that they can actually do a redirection to the actual content. Let's say Salesforce with Vinayaka Corporation has content maybe in AWS or maybe in Azure. They can redirect them based on the authentication that they have done. And these credentials that Pawan would enter is nothing but the portal credentials. So let me quickly turn to portal. This is my Salesforce portal. I'm going to use the same credentials that have been given for the community, and this is a dummy page that I have created just to showcase that the same credentials that we used for partner has a Pawan to log into portal, the same credentials that we can use in order to log into any external website. So you can see, let me log in, maybe the session issue here. Okay, you can see I just have a dummy page that you have landed to partner portal, and you can see my URL. This is a site URL. So now this is all interesting, right? But what we are actually interested is in how to know, like, how exactly this particular authentication is working in the backend. So let's shift our focus to admin called Hanuman, where he was identifying this use case when the business was giving requirement, understood that this is a classical example of identity provider using our headless technology in external client app. So let me just quickly open the external client tab that Hanuman has built. And you can see in the policies that he has selected the profile. One is system admin and the other one is the partner community user. And there's no permission set per se that it has been given. But if it needed, we can give that permission set. Only those will be able to access external client tab. In the auth policy, he has given that all the like admin pre-approved users can actually use. So as Hanuman, he has given for partner community user and also system admin that they are already pre-approved. That means if a user gets created under this profile, then they automatically get this external client tab access. Scroll down to a bit, then these are all standard configurations that we have for refresh tokens. Coming to the settings, so this is a headless login external client tab that Hanuman has created, and you can grab the external key, I mean consumer key and secret if needed. And you can see this is the exact redirect URL that was used in order to redirect when I actually logged in. So this is the exact URL that was there, and OAuth scope was given as per the need in order to achieve this particular redirection, right? And this is where the interesting things comes, that we have enabled authorization code and credential flow in order to achieve this particular one. But you can see in the security, I have neither enabled web server flow and nor refresh token, just for the demo purpose, right? But I don't need web server flow because this is a system to system talking in the backend, like where user tries to log in, but authentication is provided by Salesforce to say that, hey, this particular user is authorized. So you need not to actually ask web server flow here. But refresh token is something that you can actually consider in the project. And I've not given this PKCE key, but ideally, if a particular website that where they will be using your community username and credentials, if you're not confident about the security of that particular website, then probably you may need to enable that, and there are a few other steps that are actually needed, that needs to be done, right? So now this is the entire setup for external client tab, but since we have enabled authorization code and credential flow, and we want to use a headless technology, then we actually have to create a site for it, right? That's why I have created a site for headless login, where this is my headless login URL. This will be used further when I'm actually authenticating using my partner username and password, right? And I have just did some calls actually here so that I can actually whitelist the external website that actually I used here to log in. Then coming to the experience builder, I just had a dummy HTML page here. That is the same page that if you can see that is loaded down here, right? These are the basic setup. Now coming to the site itself, if I can just switch the focus towards the code, you can see that I'm asking for username and password, which is a required here, right? Without that, I cannot move further. Based on the username and password that I get, I have used the client ID that I have in my external client app. And then this is the redirect URI that I have given, same, which is matching with my external client app here. And then I'm using the response type as code credentials. So this would be the important piece to note down, that response type is code credential. And you can get all these references in my LinkedIn blog, where you can find out how exactly the pattern should be and what all the parameters that you may need to pass. And then you can see that this is a login URL, and the one thing to notice, this is my base URL for the site, and we usually use auth2.token, I mean slash token, in the regular authentication. But since we are using authorization for site wise, so that's why I will be using auth2 and like slash authorize here. And then it is just a generic body building that I'm doing. And then you can see once I get the response back, I'm going to pass it because my response URL contains redirect URI, which is actually used to further load it. So this is may not be relevant for us because as a Salesforce, Hanuman is expected to set this external client app and pass the details, but it is good to know that how exactly it would happen at the other system. So this all will result into logging in, and then Pawan can actually log in using the credentials, and then they can actually go and look at all the contents that they would like to, and then based on that they can do a better marketing. These are all the things that I wanted to showcase, and I hope you like this video. Thank you so much.